So this video is a brief overview of what I think about the character Boomer, played by actress Grace Park from the show Battlestar Galactica. You'll probably only get this video if you have seen the show. If not, it might be confusing. If you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for? Anyone remember the TV show Battlestar Galactica, like some 20 years ago, produced by Star Trek writer Ron Moore? Battlestar Galactica was one of the most iconic science fiction shows of the late 2000s. It was a show that featured the classical trope of machines rebelling against humanity. To give a quick recap of the show, humanity lived on 12 fictional worlds known as the 12 colonies, and they created the mechanal Cylons, who were meant to be domestic servants for humans. Getting Mass Effect vibes here. Mass Effect is a video game that did something similar with alien characters. Anyway, back to the show. The Cylons became self-aware and rebelled against their masters by wiping them out in a nuclear genocide. They then pursue humans throughout space, as the remaining 4,000 or so flee to the mythical homeworld of the 12th human tribe, Earth. When you watch the actual show, which aired between 2004 and 2009, it became clear that showrunner Ron Moore had no idea as to what the actual plan for the Cylons was. Why were they pursuing humanity through space? Why did they want to live among humans in Season 3? There were just a lot of plot holes and unanswered questions. If you watch interviews now between Moore and Katie Sackhoff, it's clear that Moore has unanswered questions about the direction the show was taking. This is where I feel that Moore dropped the ball with so many aspects of the show, including my fave character, Boomer, played by Grace Park. Boomer was the tragic character, the sleeper Cylon sent to infiltrate what was left of humanity aboard the Battlestar Galactica ship. She didn't know she was a Cylon, that she was really a robotic cybernetic lifeform node. She was one of my favorite characters, and the writers could have done so much more than what they did with Boomer. In fact, in the brief parts of the show that we see Boomer, she seems to be led around by the nose by other Cylons, Caprica 6 and the other Cylon. The old dude, number 1, Cavil. In discussions around how to treat humanity in Season 3, her model, her voice, and her thoughts are largely ignored by the other Cylons. I would have preferred to see her model helping out the humans, being led by Boomer, of course. In fact, it would have been nice to see more of the Eights. They're different personalities. Their worship of both Boomer and eventually Athena. They seem more naive and malleable than other Cylon models, because they eventually team up with the Sixes to help humanity and fight the other Cylons. But in this, again, the Eights are being led around by the Sixes. Why can't the Cylons think for themselves? And aside from one movie, that takes place somewhere in Season 3, we do see 2 Eights. One bent on killing humanity and having an affair with Gaida, and one reluctant to kill humans. So it appears that they do have multiple personalities, feelings, etc. We just needed to see more of them. Park did once say that she preferred playing Athena over Boomer, and that she found playing multiple Cylons confusing. But if Tricia Helfer can play multiple versions of a 6 model, why not more of the other regular on the show, 8s? I find it weird that Boomer never tried to do anything to stop the Cylon genocide against humans, helped Starbuck when she was kidnapped on Caprica, or tried to reach out to Hilo Chief. The second problem I have with this character arc is the simple fact that Athena was given far more screen time over Boomer. When Boomer was shot on the show and returned to the Cylon base, she was clearly becoming more emotionally unstable. Did Athena have any compassion for what Boomer went through with her false memories, with the fact that Boomer was in love with a member of the Galactica, and that her life was destroyed by her own people? This was never explored, aside from one deleted scene between Chief Tyrrell, Boomer's lover, and Athena. In fact, aside from a brief moment between Athena and Boomer in Season 3, there was hardly any other interaction between the two, despite being sisters. Did Adama ever ask her, even off-screen, about Boomer? Boomer was set up from day one. She was a sleeper agent who didn't know she was a Cylon. She loved the people around her. She served with loyalty. But the moment her programming kicked in, bang! She shoots Adama, and suddenly, she's enemy number 1. What's weird is that when she's resurrected and brought aboard the Galactica again, not even Hilo tries to talk to her. Weird. When Boomer is resurrected into a Cylon pod and brought back to the Cylons, there's another 8 model telling Boomer about how much the other Cylons love her. Gradually, this changes, as the other Cylons distance themselves from her. But her own model, the other 8s seem to think of her as a hero. Why was that storyline just dropped? Why couldn't she become the leader of the 8s, the way Caprica 6, who started the nuclear war against humanity, is a leader among the Sixes. After a while, that part of the storyline just dropped, and Boomer became separate from her own model, the rest of the Eights. It would have made more sense for Boomer to become leader of the Eights and then help humanity in some capacity.
And at some point I realized it was all just guilt. I was angry at myself for the choices I had made. Betraying my people. Losing the baby.
I would have preferred to see a Star Trek-y type of storyline with Boomer and Athena. Boomer leading the Eights, going mad, and becoming an evil version, much like the Data lore storyline in Star Trek. At the end of the show, it would have been cool to see her just kill Athena and take her place with Hilo and Athena's daughter, Hera. Oh, and at the end, kill off the other Eights so they don't reveal her true identity.